Hey, what is up guys? How are we doing? And welcome back to another video. Now today we're looking at the RX 570, a graphics card that's pretty much all about price to performance. And this one that I've got here is from Sapphire. It is the Nitro Plus, and it's a little bit more expensive than some of its rivals, including its own Pulse, around about £11 more at the time of filming, but it pretty much has all the features you would want from a graphics card, and it isn't overly expensive either. So is this something you should be buying, or is this something maybe you should be avoiding? Well, to answer that question, as always, we'll start by taking a look at the design of the card, which I have to say looks very impressive. I don't think it's overly difficult to make a two-tone neutral design card look good, but Sapphire have excelled here, and it's something that I'd be very proud to have in my own system. The front of the card features two fans as a part of a two-fan, two-slot design. Thermals are very good. I mean, this thing remains pretty quiet even under full load, and if you aren't gaming then the fans won't be spinning at all unless you're doing something particularly intensive. At the top of the card we've got the Sapphire logo, and this is illuminated with RGB, which is one of the main features of going for a slightly more expensive card like this. We have two power connections. We've got an 8-pin and a 6-pin, although I think you only need to use the 8-pin. The 6-pin is if you want to overclock this card. At least that's what it says on the box. And then round the back of the card we've got a backplate, which again looks very nice. I like the design here. There isn't any RGB, but on a budget friendly card, not really something I think most people will miss. And the backplate of course should stop the card from sagging a little bit, and some people say it will help with thermals, but realistically I don't think it's going to make too much difference. Then moving around to the left hand side of the card where we've got the I/O, we've got two HDMI sockets, and these are HDMI 2.0. We've got two DisplayPort 1.4s and then one DVI port as well. So you pretty much got everything covered. If you want to use FreeSync then it's going to be the DisplayPort or the HDMI sockets depending on the monitor you have currently got. So that's pretty much everything really you need to know about this graphics card from a design point of view. What's this thing's performance like, and is it worth buying? Well, I've already mentioned that this card runs pretty quietly, even under full load. It's definitely audible, but I don't think anyone's really going to have a heart attack from listening to the insane noise that it produces. And in terms of thermals, it didn't hit over 71 degrees, even after doing a full benchmark run of the superposition benchmark, which is pretty impressive. But of course this isn't the most power hungry card out there, so it is pretty much in line with expectations. But in terms of raw numbers for benchmarks, it's a very impressive bit of kit. Obviously it's not the fastest graphics card out there. At the moment that will go to the Titan XP or the 1080 Ti. But it delivers some really strong bang for buck, and if you're in the market for a card to run 1080p Ultra, then you probably don't really need any more than this unless you're running at over 100 Hz. But having said that, if you do want to run at 1440p, even at Ultra settings, then it's going to be absolutely fine, as you can see from these numbers, but you may want to drop it down to high to get a minimum of 60 FPS. Going above that, and we'll still see acceptable numbers in certain titles, but some titles, especially the latest ones and the most intensive ones, will start to struggle. This isn't really a card for over 1440p. But if you're running at 1080p or 1440p and you're on a moderate budget, then this really is a very strong choice for you. Comparing directly against some other graphics cards, the 1060 and the 580 both are faster, but are obviously more expensive, with the 580 in particular being 10% faster, but 15% more expensive. And then of course you've got the 460 from last year, and this card is double as quick, which really goes to show how that card really wasn't necessarily the best purchase because it didn't represent brilliant value for money. And then the real last thing to mention is the fact that this is the 4GB variant of this card, and there is an 8GB variant as well that you can buy, but it's not really worth doing because I don't think many people are gonna be able to take advantage of the extra VRAM. That's going to be more suitable for higher resolutions, and this card isn't going to be able to drive things like 4K anyway. So save yourself the money, get the 4GB card, and I think you'd be very impressed with the value proposition. Which is why overall this wins the Editor's Choice Award. It's a fantastic graphics card, and if you want to build a budget system that can still play all the latest and greatest titles at high to ultra settings, depending on the resolution you go for, it's a really impressive bit of kit. But let me know what you thought down in the comments section below. Is this powerful enough for you? Is this got enough value for you, or are you going to wait for something else? Obviously, a massive thank you to AMD for supplying this review sample. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you didn't. Thanks as always to Corsair for sponsoring the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.